Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be giving you my top 10 tips for starting keto, starting this journey. A lot of things when I first started doing keto, I didn't really know. I wasn't really that well educated on, so I have learned so much over this process. Make sure you check out my keto playlist. It has all my videos from beginning to end and also has different meals as well, and I will continue to add meals and updates to that playlist. There were a ton of mistakes that I made in the beginning of starting keto, so to just make things very clear and understandable for you guys, I'm going to give you my top 10 tips. My first tip with starting the keto diet: you need to learn how to read labels and you need to learn how to look for hidden sugars. Sugar is going to be listed under so many different names. There are so many different names for sugar out here, and so you have to get familiar with reading labels and reading them correctly, and then also reading the ingredients, finding the hidden sugars in the ingredients so that you can be successful. Sugar and starch, it will cause your insulin levels to rise, and that is something that you don't want while ketoing. The whole purpose of the keto diet is to keep your insulin levels really low so that your body is burning stored fat. If your insulin levels spike, it's going to keep you from being able to burn the stored fat, and so you will see that you won't lose as much or as fast as maybe someone else who's doing the keto diet. So make sure you're reading the labels and make sure you're looking for hidden sugars. So I'm going to get into how to read a label. So the first thing that you want to look for when looking on the back of the label, you want to look for the ingredients. That's the first thing that you want to look for. Food manufacturers are required by FDA to list ingredients in order. They do it by weight. So when you look at the first few ingredients on the back of the label, you'll see that these are the key ingredients that weigh the most. If you see corn syrup and if you see glucose and if you see all these other different names and they are listed first, that means it has the most of that ingredient within the product that you're trying to buy. And if you don't know what something is, Google it. Get on your phone and Google what the ingredient is. I like to look at the total carbohydrates as well. I want to see how many grams are in this particular item or product that I'm looking into buying. I use the Keto app, which I'll put the little symbol here. The Keto app, it's called Keto Diet Tracker. And it does cost. You do have to pay like a monthly subscription fee of $2.99, but it's worth it. That will help you with calculating your net carbs, and it will help you to calculate your daily macros. Your daily macros is going to be your protein, your fat, and then your carbs, and then it's determined by your height, your weight, and your age. So keep that in mind. You want to stick to products that are labeled no sugar added, zero sugar, or sugar free. And you still have to be careful with those labels, but for the most part, you're headed in the right direction with getting this particular product or that particular product, because you know the focus of this product is to have no sugar. If you are wanting to calculate how many net carbs are in a product, you'll take the total net carbs and then you'll subtract the dietary fiber, and then you'll subtract the sugar alcohols if there are any within the product, and then you'll get the net carb for that particular product. I'm going to put a picture on the screen so that you guys can get an idea. It's going to show an example of a label. So there are total carbohydrates 4 grams. There is 1 gram of dietary fiber. There isn't any sugar alcohol in this product. If there was, it would have been listed right after the dietary fiber. So I'm going to subtract 1, and that gives me 3 grams of net carbs. So that is how you determine how many net carbs are within a product or a food item that you may be buying. Now this is important because you're going to be tracking your daily macros, which I'll get into later. But that's why you want to make sure you're keeping your net carbs low so that you are making sure you're not going over your daily allowance. and you should be using the Keto Diet Tracker app. And then by using the app, that is going to tell you what your daily allowance is for the day. And you have to do this with every food item that you eat, unless it states 0 carbs. If it states 0 carbs, there are no hidden sugars in it, you're pretty much good to go. My second tip, stay hydrated. It's so important on the keto diet. A lot of people fail time after time with trying to attempt the keto diet because they're not hydrating themselves. They're not drinking plenty of water. I find it that I am better hydrated by adding lemon to my water. Lemon water is beneficial when it comes to the keto diet. It replaces your electrolytes that you may be losing while doing the keto diet. So it's gonna hydrate you to the fullest. And also, lemon water is beneficial because you're not gonna be constipated. If you find yourself being constipated while doing keto, you need to really increase your lemon water intake. Now, Dr. Berg here on YouTube, he has, I believe, a product that you can buy powder form. It's an electrolyte powder that you can buy, and I believe it's on Amazon. I'll make sure to link it down below if you're really not interested in the lemon water. Honestly, I don't find anything wrong with lemon water. I mean, lemons are cheap. Water is free, so I don't see what's wrong with it, but you do have to like drink a lot of it to really get it through your system. If you find yourself being lightheaded, or you just feel like you're gonna pass out, or you just feel super weak, drink lemon water. Pedialyte is not something that you can have because it has sugar in it. So you have to get it from lemon. You have to get it from salt. You can get your electrolytes through salt. Pickles is another one. They can't be sweet pickles, just regular pickles. If you're interested, you could always buy Dr. Berg's version of his electrolyte powder. Those are my tips with staying hydrated and not feeling like you're gonna pass out. How much should you drink? Anywhere between minimum 64 ounces. If you can drink more than that, that's great. I would try to drink at least 2 64 ounces of water a day, but 64, if you can just get 64 in, that would be great. 64 ounces of lemon water would be phenomenal. Number 3, you want to maximize keto. And this is optional. This is not something that you have to do, but I'm gonna throw it in here with my tips because I would not have lost 30 pounds in 13 weeks if it wasn't for fasting. So I'm not gonna get into intermittent fasting in this video because I could literally create an entire video by itself regarding intermittent fasting. So if you would like for me to talk about intermittent fasting in a separate video, give this video a thumbs up and I will create one. But I honestly recommend fasting while ketoing so that you can maximize your results, your progress. It will really speed it up. Number 4, you need to increase your salt intake. This is important because this is where the headaches kind of fit in, the fatigue kind of fits in. If you're not increasing your salt intake, I use salt butter and I use sea salt, I use pink salt. It keeps me from feeling like just weak and just tired and just drained. You need the extra salt in your diet. It's so important, and that's why I tend to eat a lot of pork. My family was a little concerned with me consuming so much pork on a daily because it has a lot of sodium in it. But honestly, when you're doing the keto diet and you're not eating any carbs, any bad carbs, it's a really great benefit to eat. So if you aren't against pork, I would suggest eating tons of pork. I'm not saying baking necessarily, like I do Italian sausage, ribs. I'm big on ribs. If you follow me on Instagram, you see how I will tear up some ribs. I just do no barbecue sauce. And that is pretty much how I've been able to survive without feeling tired or having extreme headaches. Number 5, you need to exercise. Exercising doesn't have to be an all-day thing. It doesn't have to be a 2-hour thing. You can literally exercise for 30 to 45 minutes and be done. I will do my sprint routine, which I'll link down below. So my sprint routine lasts for like 30 minutes, and then I'll come back later that night and I'll lift. So it's important for you to get in your cardio, but also lift weights. You don't want to be a flabby ketoer. I've seen flabby keto people or don't have any muscle structure or muscle definition. You really want to lift as much as you can. You only need to do light cardio. Cardio only needs to last for like 20 minutes. A simple 10-minute warm-up and then a 20-minute high intensity cardio and then just go lift afterwards. So number 6, avoid constipation. The only way that you can avoid constipation is you have to get in your greens. You have to eat plenty of greens. The darker the veggie, so the greener the veggie, the better. So spinach, you can do kale, you can do greens. You can do greens, you can do southern greens. I've done that. You can make southern greens and use fat, and that is a great dish to make. I really should make some southern greens. The more greens and the more lemon water, the more hydrated you are, you won't have to worry about constipation whatsoever. And then number 7, eating too much protein can hurt you. People ask me all the time, like, do you measure? No, I don't measure my meat or anything like that. I used to do that when I did low carb. If you're using the Keto Diet Tracker app, you will be fine. Once you get to a certain point with keto, like you become fat adapted, the keto diet can be an appetite suppressant. So eventually you can start off with eating 3 to 2 meals a day when you first start out with keto, and then you'll see yourself slowly going to maybe 1 meal a day or 1 meal a day and a snack. I find myself eating less because the keto diet is working for me. My insulin levels are low, and so my body is fueling itself off stored fat instead of me consuming fat that it needs to burn. That's the thing with keto, with the whole fat loss thing, is when you keep your insulin levels low, this gives your body a chance to burn the fat that is stored. If you spike your insulin levels, then your body is going to focus on the food that's being consumed. And that is the huge dynamic with the keto diet. You want to keep your insulin levels low so that your body is burning the stored fat and it's not burning any fat or food that you may be consuming. So you'll see yourself being able to go literally hours with not eating, and then when you do eat, you're not really hungry. It's because your body is fueling itself off the stored fat because your insulin levels are low, and that is another sign that you're in ketosis. Number 8, choose carbs wisely. Don't just eat something just because you want to eat it. Like, be very particular about the carbs that you eat. This will also play into not being constipated. You want to be in the habit of eating good carbs. Yes, there are alternatives of different breads and biscuits and all of these different alternatives, but if you start to eat too much of those things, you'll see yourself gaining or just not losing or plateauing out. So make sure you choose your carbs wisely. And then number 9, I'm just going to make this as simple as possible. Why is the MCT oil, why is it so important? MCT oil is important because it's going to help you stay in ketosis, and it's going to help you get into ketosis. So say if you're a beginner, you want to get MCT oil and you want to add it to black coffee, bulletproof coffee. You want to put it in your vegetables or maybe smear the pan with MCT oil. And number 10, super, super important, 2 things. Limit stress. And limit stress, but then also don't stress yourself out by weighing yourself weekly. This is a mistake that I made. I was stressing, and then on top of that, I was stressing over the scale because I felt like I wasn't losing enough or fast enough. And that's the thing with keto. You could go weeks and not lose anything, but you will lose tons of inches. So you need to get measuring tape, and before you start, take body measurements. Also, make sure you look at your pant size. Make sure you take pictures of your midsection. If you want to know if keto is working because maybe the scale is not showing it, take a look at your midsection. Your midsection is going to be your first sign. It's not going to be the scale. Make sure you weigh yourself like maybe every 2 to 3 weeks, maybe once a month, but don't make it a habit of weighing yourself every week because you could go weeks with not losing anything, and you just don't want to stress yourself out or discourage yourself by weighing yourself too often, because keto, it works in a sense of you're just, sailing through. Even though you're losing inches sailing through, you're just sailing through, and then all of a sudden you'll just drop, and then you'll sail through, and then all of a sudden you'll drop. That's how keto works. So if you're weighing yourself on a weekly basis and you're like, why am I losing nothing? That is just how keto works. Don't worry. You have to trust the process. Blindly trust the process. But honestly, your midsection is going to be your first sign. So this pretty much completes my top 10 keto tips for beginners. This is how you will be successful on the keto diet. If you follow these tips, you will not fail. If you stay consistent, you will not fail. If you are committed and you follow these tips, no way in hell you could fail this. If I can do it, you can do it. So comment down below if you have any tips for beginners who are starting keto. Maybe you've already started and you've learned some things. Comment down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video.